So today we're going to talk about the essentials of bodybuilding, because if you want to attract your personal 10 out of 10, you also must be able to build an aesthetic physique because you want to stack the odds in your favor. Now, ideally, there's two things that a girl will actually care about viscerally. So the thing that will be completely unconscious to her but will have the most impact is to have a shoulder to waist ratio of 1.6 to 1. Okay. There's two things that will make that illusion happen: a tiny waist and broad shoulders. And in this video, we're going to see exactly how to go about constructing both of these things. So I'm going to walk you through the essentials of bodybuilding because, first of all, I think that it's an essential tool in your tool belt. If you're trying to, I hope the mic has been working, it has. If you're trying to build, if you're trying to, not build, but if you're trying to attract your 10 out of 10, your personal 10 out of 10, you want to be able to stack all the odds in your favor. You want to be able to dial all the 1% so that when you're at her, when you're there, you have the highest likelihood of her liking you back. And these are things like the communication that you have, the presence that you have, your inner game, the set of beliefs and boundaries and belief systems that you have curated and cultivated and adopted. And if you want to dive deep into all of that stuff, by the way, grab the link in the description below because you can work with me personally. And part of that is dialing your body. Okay, is it necessary to have an amazing body to attract a woman? Not necessarily. But will it help you? Fuck yes. In fact, if girls say, "Oh, I like the dad bod," shit, that voice there came to me way too easily. Anyway, if girls say, I like the dad bod, they might not really know what they're talking about. They might say they like the dad bod, but the thing they actually respond to is the fucking chiseled physique. And it's not even about being really ripped or big. It's specifically about having that ratio. And there's a similar thing with us as well, with us men. We tend to be attracted to a hip to waist ratio of some kind of proportion as well. So back in the Middle Ages or whatever, where the fat girls were in vogue, the hip to ratio was still fucking dialed. So now that the skinny girls are in fashion, still it's the hip to waist ratio. So these things tend to not change because they are biologically hardwired in us. Now, walking you through the essentials of bodybuilding, I want to start with saying that for most guys out there, there's going to be two phases: the phase of cutting down and the phase of bulking up. And I want you to take care of only two things to create that V-taper illusion of 1.6 to 1 to have that effect on women. Now, is it the ideal way to train, and is that the healthiest way to build your body? Fuck no. I advocate to actually do it by the book, but with that said, paying a little extra attention to the ratio that we're trying to build. So, where do we begin? We begin by saying, first of all, that the working out in and of itself, it needs to be a habit. Because, number one, what it'll do is, first of all, number 0, if it's not a habit, it's never going to work. So it needs to be something that is part of your lifestyle and part of your everyday or weekly life at least. If it is, the benefits are, number 1, you are going to win in self-image. Your self-image is going to go up. Your self-esteem is going to go up, the way that you understand your own efficacy, the way that you keep the promises to yourself. All these things are going to give you a little bit of a boost in when you look someone in the eye and when you communicate with them. That's not coincidence. That is built brick by brick. And if you're working with me one-on-one, you damn better be doing something like that. You damn better be paying attention to your inner game and building your self-esteem and your boundaries and your character, because all of that is summed up in the way that you walk up to a woman and you look her in the eye and you're able to state your case and be taken seriously and command respect. So it's not the big impressive physique alone that commands respect, it's the way that you look at her because you've been building it, because you've been responsible for building this physique. That's number one. Number two, your testosterone is going to help to thank you. Having high testosterone as a man is important, is incredibly important. And if you're working out and especially using compound lifts, which are lifts that use two or more, well, I guess two joints instead of one. So like this is not a compound lift because it uses one joint. It's like a bicep curl. But a bench press uses both the joints of the shoulder and the joints of the elbow. So that makes it a compound lift. Compound lifts mean that you work more of the body at one time. So compound lifts tend to increase your testosterone, so hit them. Heavy weights, compound lifts, good for testosterone, specifically when you're working out big muscles. That means the glutes, that means the quads, that means the hamstrings. So like all the leg work, that's very important for testosterone. Testosterone alone is going to be amazing for you to come across more masculine, more commanding, more imposing, more dominant, and all these things are very, very fucking attractive. Now, as I was saying before, there's two phases that most of us are going to work with. The phase of shrinking down and the phase of bulking up. You need both to create that V-taper illusion. Why? Because the slim waist is going to be the result of the shrinking down, but the broad shoulders are going to be the result of bulking up. What I want you is to alternate between the two periods, and every period is going to be about 3 months or something like that. As you learn more, you dive deeper into it and you see the nuances, and it's all not always 3 months, but this is a good kind of like rule of thumb to start your journey with. So there's two things that we need to create that V-taper illusion: the shoulders and the waist. The waist is a result of shrinking down, which is dieting. Your diet is going to be responsible for shrinking down. And your working out is going to be responsible for bulking up. Now, working out still continues in the diet phase. And nutrition and eating properly still continues in the bulking phase. So, what I want you to do is understand that when you are working out your muscle, when you are performing a rep in the gym, if you keep performing it, at some point, your muscle is going to feel like it's getting tired. What's crucial here is that even though your muscle is tired, the way that you perform the rep is the exact same. You don't break the form. You don't make it a little easier on you by swinging your body or by moving your body a little bit more. This is the crucial point. It's right there where the muscle starts getting tired that you have to really focus and keep the rep in the exact same way. Like keep fucking moving your arm or whatever part of your body it is in that particular exercise as if it's on train tracks. Here's why. It is this moment that you're actually creating the growth. This is the moment where you start feeling really tired, that you need to push through. You need to activate your brain to command the muscle to still perform the movement, even though it's almost impossible. If you push through that, that creates micro tears in the muscle. The muscle gets a little deteriorated. And at night, when you sleep over the next couple of days, the muscle gets repaired because of how you rest, because of having adequate sleep, and because of the nutrition that you eat. If you eat a little more than you need to move your body, so say that moving your body in regular life costs you 2,000 calories per day. If you eat 2,200, now with this little surplus, you give you the muscle the opportunity to build itself back while you sleep, because you tore it up in the gym the night or the day before. Okay, so if you do that, your muscles will tend to get bigger. The muscle you want to specifically target is the median delt. Okay, this muscle right here. The muscles in your shoulder, the external muscles, the muscles on the surface muscles, are three muscles. It's the front delt right here, the median delt right here, and the rear delt right here. Okay. If you want to create the V-taper illusion, the muscle that you want to hit is the median delt. You will hit that muscle by lateral raises, which are, you take a dumbbell in your hand and dumbbell in your other hand. These dumbbells need to be very, very light. We're talking, if you're a beginner, 1 kilo, 2 pounds, 5 pounds max, maybe 10 pounds, but that's kind of like the range. And you raise your arms like this and back down. Okay. So the most important thing when lifting weights, next to having the rep being on train tracks, like I said, or parallel to that, because it's really essentially the same thing, is having a good mind-muscle connection. That means that all the energy that you're using is going into the target muscle. What happens is that our body wants to compensate. Our body wants to help put the weight up, right? So your body is trained through all the years of your life until now to try to put up the weight in the most efficient way, using the most efficient, like recruiting as many muscles as possible. You need to make it do the opposite in the gym. You need to make it use only the muscle that you're targeting, because in that way you can use less weight, preserving your joints, giving your workouts longevity so that you can keep working out in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s if you want. And you can also not get as tired, or use all the energy that you want into targeting a specific muscle and not depleting your energy, bleeding it into the nearby muscles that are auxiliary and are helping with the lift. Now this you do with the power of your mind. So for my median delts, I do two movements. Like I said, the lateral raise and a shoulder press. However, when you see people shoulder pressing, they're gonna lean back a little bit. They're gonna have the bench at like a tiny incline like this. They're gonna lean their back on the bench and they're gonna press up. And that recruits the front or anterior delt as well. When you see me shoulder pressing, I shoulder press in a way where this is impossible to show you unless you're working out with me. But I shoulder press in a way where if you touch my front delt, it's relaxed. And if you touch my median delt, it's tense as fuck. So the best way I could describe it is the forearm needs to be perpendicular to the floor in both planes. So like both like this, it needs to be upright, and like this, it needs to be upright. So it's exactly here. The shoulder is resting on the rest of the skeleton. So I'm not going like this, I'm not shrugging it, but I'm resting it down here. And the arm is going to be out here at exactly 90 degrees. Okay. And the movement is going to be down and up. And notice how my forearm stays perpendicular the entire time. So if you do this correctly, then you're only working your median delt. So if you do these two movements in the gym properly, twice a week, then your shoulders start getting broad because you're eating sufficiently, you're sleeping sufficiently, you're performing the movement enough at least twice a week. So your shoulders are going to start getting big. The problem is that as you're doing it, your waist is going to start getting big as well, because you're eating in a surplus. And yes, you're building muscle, but at the same time, you're also building fat. So what you need to do is, once you're done with that phase, once you've built adequate enough muscle, and you will know that by, first of all, looking at yourself in the mirror. You can also tape measure yourself, but you will know this also by how much weight you've been pressing, because as the days and weeks and months go by, you will see that, if your form is perfect, which is priority number one, and you keep pressing, eventually, it's going to get a little easier to press. You're going to be able to perform more reps, and the weight is not going to be as challenging for you. That's the time to select the next tier of weight. So if you're at 10 pounds, go 12 pounds. Right? So we keep doing that. We keep increasing the weight. The volume of the shoulder keeps increasing. Now, when we're done with that phase, when we've bulked up enough, it's time to cut down. So from the 2,000 calories or 2,200 that we were at, if we're still using up 2,000 calories for our daily needs, now we're going to go down to 1,800 calories. So instead of having a 200 calorie surplus, now we're going to be at a 200 calorie deficit. The trick here is this. Your muscles are no longer going to have enough nutrients to keep building themselves at the same rate. However, that doesn't mean that you must get that, or that you're going to get weaker. If you keep being focused in the gym, not missing your sessions, and keep working, you will see that the more the days and weeks go by, the more you're going to keep shrinking down, but at the same time, putting up the weight is going to continue, and your body is going to start composing, to start actually getting ripped and revealing the muscle that you've built in this entire bulking phase. So after 3 months of that, now your waist has shrunk. So your shoulders have stayed big, maybe shrunk a little bit because it's impossible to keep all the muscle that you made in a calorie deficit. But still, you're going to stay strong, don't worry. And your waist has shrunk. And so 6 months later, your 1 to 1.3 ratio became a 1 to 1.4. And you're one step closer to this illusion that when the girl sees you, she will perceive, oh my God, unconsciously, oh my God, this guy is attractive. There's something about this guy that I can't put my finger on. That's kind of how it works. Now, should you only work your shoulders and shrink your waist? No, that is crazy talk. Please don't do that. Work properly in the gym. Create an amazing physique. Create a strong physique that you're proud of. Create a physique that helps your testosterone. Create a physique and a lifestyle and a commitment that adds to your self-esteem. And pay some extra attention to your shoulders. I will create a meditation, a guided meditation, to guide your mind-muscle connection, because this is one of the most important bits, and this is one of the bits that is overlooked by most trainers. And this is one of the things that has helped me the most. It's one of the things that has literally helped me correct scoliosis in my body, which doctors say is impossible. So I cannot stress enough how important. So look for it. I'm going to put it down in the description below. And by the way, if you want to work with me one-on-one, also link down in the description below. Work with me on getting the girl of your dreams, specifically, not just bodybuilding, but doing all of the things that will attract her. I cannot stress enough the importance of mind-muscle connection. Once you become more and more and more proficient with your mind directly commanding specifically the muscle that you're targeting, because now over 20 and 30 years of life, your mind has become proficient with pushing and pulling stuff, manipulating your environment in the most efficient way, recruiting the most muscles possible, using momentum. So in the gym, we need to specifically unlearn and reverse that to the mind only communicating and commanding specifically the muscle that you're targeting. The more you become proficient with that, the more you will see your physique blow up like nothing else. Given that you do the right things, given that you eat right, you train right, you sleep right, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of like the gist. That's the main things about how to create an aesthetic physique that girls specifically fall for without even realizing. If you wanna keep watching videos like this, obviously I upload every day now. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for coming to this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.